Welcome back, everybody. So taking a look at the warm-up here again, if you're watching this from home, make sure you pause here and then play whenever you're ready. So we learned on Friday that to factor a trinomial, three terms, you've got to find the factors of the last number that add to get to the middle number, right? Factors of your last number that add to get to the middle number. So, for example, in that first one there, we had 3. Well, since 3 is prime, the only factors of 3 are 1 and 3. So x plus 1, x plus 3, because that equals 4. Now, what are the factors of 6 that add to get to negative 7? Well, the factors of 6 that add to get to a negative number, they both must be negative. Negative 1 times negative 6, or negative 2 times negative 3. Those are my only two sets of factors of 6. And they both have to be negative because my middle number is also negative. So now, which set of factors work? Negative 1 and negative 6 or negative 2, negative 3? Negative 1, negative 6. So we can say that my answer is x minus 1, x minus 6. And that's my answer. Because they multiply to get to positive 6, but add together to get negative 7. Now, let's take a look at number 10 here. Because my last number is negative, one of the factors must be positive and one of the factors must be negative. Because I want to multiply together to get a negative number. Wake up, Liam. There we go, thank you. Hi.
Hi. I have a kindness note for someone.
For me?
No.
Oh.
Thank you.
Ben. For Ben.
Oh, you're so kind.
It's from me.
What is it?
All right, so we've got factors of negative 7 that add to get to negative 6. So it could be negative 1 times positive 7 or negative 7 times positive 1. Which set of factors work? Which set of factors work?
Negative 7.
Negative 7, positive 1.
Okay.
X minus 7, x plus 1.
Does it matter which order it's in?
Does it matter? No. The order does not matter but here's what you can't do. You can't say x plus 7, x minus 1. You can't flip the sign, but it doesn't matter which order it's in. Like you could say x plus 1, x minus 7, or x minus 7, x plus 1. But you can't flip the signs in between. Number 13 there, I've got x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, again, negative 2. It could either be negative 1 times positive 2 or negative 2 times positive 1. Which one is it? Which one is it? Negative 2, positive 1. Negative 2, positive 1. So x minus 2, x plus 1. Questions about that? I know it's been a while since we did that, but again, I hope you remember all the way back to Friday. Yeah, all the way back to Friday. By the end of the day on Friday, you guys are like, oh, this is really easy. All you do is find the factors of your last number that add together to get the middle number. So I've got the key up here for the homework. So go ahead and check your answers. Okay. This is page 544, 20 to 30 even, 33 to 36, 38 to 49. You know, I gave you a lot of time in class to work on this. So many of you probably got this done in class. So you're looking at the highlighted pieces there. There's one that I know is wrong. Like for some reason in your book, because somebody was asking me about it like in class, and I was like, oh no, that's prime. And I don't know why it was written different in the key. So if you come across it and you're like, wait, I thought that was prime, let me know. It's even showing the tables here to let you see, you know, what it's multiplied to and what it's adding to.
I think it's
42?
Yeah, it's the only one.
Yeah. Okay. So for number 20, it's x plus 1 and x plus 11. Number 22 is x plus 3 and x plus 12. Number 24 is x minus 3, x minus 6. Number 26, x minus 3, x plus 4. Number 28, x minus 3, x plus 12. And number 30, x plus 2, x minus 12. Let me jump down here for For 33, 34, 35, and 36, it should have gone C, A, B, then D. Do you need to show the tables like on a quiz? No. But again, the more work you show, if you don't get the answer correct, the more work you show, the more partial credit I can give you. So make your list, and then I can check that. Was it 42?
That's what I got.
What was your initial problem for 42? X squared. Was it plus 12x? Anybody write it down?
X squared minus 12x minus 4.
That's what the issue was. In my key, it looks like it's a plus. If that had been a minus, like you guys had been presented, that would have been prime. And you would have been right by saying prime. If it had been a minus 32, like what you had been presented in your book, then it would have been prime. But it's not. It's a positive. So you can actually factor that one. Factors of positive 32 that had to get to negative 12 would have been a negative 4 and a negative 8. But you can check the rest there. 38 is x minus 4x plus 5. 42 is x minus 4x minus 8. 46 is x plus 3x minus 9. Wait. It's going down. That's what it's doing. Oh. Okay. 38, 39, 40, 42, 43, 44. It looks like I've got the rest of them down there too. So it's kind of jumping around a little bit there. Just check your answers.
I think our 40 is different too.
Oh, yeah? What did you say for 40?
Well, our problem was x squared minus 4x minus 11.
For real?
That's what I wrote down.
What did you guys write that down too?
I wrote minus 4. No, then I don't know what
You might have just written it down, Rob. Yeah.
What did you write for 40?
Yeah, minus 21. I think you probably just wrote it down.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody need the top row, 38, 42, or 46 anymore? Anybody need the top row? Nope. Okay. Here is the rest of the answers then for 41, 45, 49 down there. Again, I am making a video of this, so if you do ever need to go back and rewatch something that you didn't understand the first time, make sure you go back and rewatch those videos. A lot of people are coming back to me saying, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Please don't come to me and say, I don't know how to do this unless you have rewatched the videos. And then rewatch the videos. And then maybe watch it one more time. And then come back to me and say, okay, I really don't know how to do this, which is completely fine. You can do that. Then I'll get you some help. Then we'll get you squared away. But again, that's the reason why I make these videos. You've got to rewatch the videos that you're struggling with. Because this is a key concept. Factoring is one of those things that I can't let you leave my room if you don't know how to factor. Right? I think I talked about this already. This is one of the big concepts of Algebra 1, factoring, especially factoring quadratic. Soon enough, we're going to be factoring all sorts of things. Okay, factoring with quadratics, factoring with 4 terms, 2 terms sometimes, factoring by GCFs. We're going to be putting it all together. Okay, but right now we're just learning the individual pieces. Like, for example, can anybody tell me, did I have, on any of these problems in the homework last night, did any of those problems have a number in front of x squared? Any of them? Did any of them have a number in front of x squared? No. Right? This is a special case where I have x squared plus bx plus c, where there's just a 1 out in front of x squared. Okay? That is a special case when we have a 1 out in front of x squared. What we're going to look at today is when we change that to be a number. Okay? What we're going to look at today is when we say, okay, what if I've got an ax squared plus bx plus c? What if there's a number out front? I've got to be honest, guys. I've got to be completely honest. The stuff that we had done on Thursday and the stuff that we just went over on the homework, we're going to be calling that the easy type of factoring. And that's in comparison to what we're going to do today. I'm not necessarily saying that this stuff is difficult. I'm just saying that this is more difficult than just finding the last numbers that add to get to the middle. Okay? We've done 4 terms already. Remember factoring by grouping? Yeah. So it's actually, in my opinion, factoring by grouping is kind of easier than that.
I didn't make it so easy for me.
No problem.
It had this.
Needed bracelet.
All right. Okay. So do you guys see how it says factor by guess and check? What are my thoughts on guess and check? I don't like it. No me gusta. No bueno. Nicht gut. I don't like guess and check. Okay? Well done? I don't like guess and check. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you a method that will work every single time. I'd like everybody to flip over your guided notes to the back, to the blank back. And I would like everybody to write out a brand new problem at the very top. Okay? And at the very top of this paper, I'm going to write factor by rewrite. Okay? Some might call this the master product method. Some might call this the master product method. Okay? And that should get it. Figure out. Man, let the pencils go quick over here. Y'all done? Okay, everybody write down this problem. 6x squared plus 23x. 6x squared plus 23x plus 20. Okay. Now, please understand that this is different from what we did on Friday. Okay? What we did on Friday, there was no number out in front of x squared, so all I had to do was find the factors of my last number that added to get to my middle number. What would I do? What would happen if I actually tried to do that right now? What are the factors of 20 that add to get to 23? None. They don't exist. I might be tempted to call this prime. This is not prime. Okay? This is not prime. So here's what we do. Okay? If I want to write out my steps, and you can do this off to the side, okay, I'll write them out here. You're going to multiply first times last. Okay. I'm going to multiply first times last. Okay, 6 times 20. And what do I get? What is 6 times 20? 120. And I'm going to find the factors of 120. I'm not going to make my list off of just 20. I'm going to find the factors of 120 that will add to get to 23. And that's my second step on this. Find factors that add to my middle term. Now, do you have to make your entire list? You want to find the factors of the last number that will add to get to the middle number. Now, do you have to make your entire list? No, you do not. Does anybody see what two numbers multiply? These are kind of tricky numbers. So here's what we have to do. If you can't see it right away, that's when you have to make your list. Okay, 1 times 120. Is that one going to work? 2 times 60. Is that one going to work? No. 3 times, is that one going to work? No. 4 times 30, is that one going to work? No, I'm getting smaller with my sums though. Is 5 going to work? Well, let's check. Let's see if 120 divided by 5. 24. Is 5 going to work? Nope. I'm getting closer though, right? Maybe 6. I'm getting closer to 23. It's getting smaller. Is 120 divisible by 7? Let's check. No. Right. Is 120 divisible by 8?
Yes, sir.
I'm starting to think this one might be prime, but wait. Bingo. Does that work? Yes. So you find the factors that add to get to the middle term. The two numbers that multiply together to get your first term. That add together to get your middle term. All right. Now, I see that 8 times 15 works. Now, here's what we do. We leave our first number exactly the same. We leave our last number exactly the same. But what we do is we rewrite this middle number with those two terms. 8x and 15x. Okay, so my next step is rewrite middle term with the factors. Now, what we've done before comes right into play now. How many terms do you see? 4. I see 4 terms. What's the only way to factor something with 4 terms? By grouping. Factor by grouping. See, this is all tying in now. We're going to factor by grouping. I'm going to underline my first 2 terms, underline my last 2 terms, and I'm going to factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. Okay. Well, to factor by grouping, what's the GCF of my first 2 terms? What's the GCF? 2x. So let's pull it out and divide it out. This is why it's so important to remember all of our factoring rules. That leaves me with a 3x plus 4. What's my GCF of my second 2 parts? A 5. When I pull it out, what does it leave me with? What's 15 divided by 5? What's 20 divided by 5? And hey, look at that. And now my final answer is my piece inside the parentheses along with the other stuff left over. Okay? And that's my answer. Now, I hope you would all agree with me when I say, yeah, if I'm comparing to what we did Thursday to what we're doing today, yes, this definitely is the hard type of factoring. The easy type of factoring is when my first number is 1, right? When my first number is 1, I can just go straight to going to my 2 parentheses. Yes.
This week.
This week? No, this is only a 3-day week. But next week, yes. Our quiz is going to be next Tuesday. All right. So let's go back to the other side of the paper and practice this method.
It takes so long.
Yes.
Oh,
And that's the issue with some of this stuff. This takes a little bit more time. Now, will you get quicker at this the more you do it?
yeah.
Of course. That is why it is so important to do your homework. It's not just for the sake of doing homework, but repetition is key with this stuff. Not only are you going to remember the process, is that you're going to make it, you're going to be doing it faster and faster each time. All right. Okay, first step is multiply first times last. What do I get when I multiply first times last in this? Negative 24. Okay, I want to find the factors of negative 24 that add together to get me negative 2. Well, negative 24, I've got to have one positive, one negative. So if I wanted to list them all out, negative 1 times 24, negative 2 times 12, negative 3 times 8, negative 4 times 6. Ooh, did that do it? Is negative 4 times 6 negative 2?
Yeah.
No, it's positive 2. So all I need to do is just flip my numbers, negative 6 times 4. Negative 6 times 4 are the factors of my product that will add together to get me my middle number. So negative 6, positive 4. So my first number stays the same. My last number stays the same. I rewrite my middle term. Negative 6x plus 4x. Hey guys, one key piece of this is if one of the two factors is negative, then I want to put the negative factor first. That's going to help me when I factor by grouping, because that's my next step. Factor by grouping. My GCF of my first two terms is 3x. So x minus 2. My GCF of my second two terms is positive 4. So x minus 2. And look at that. My parentheses are the same. My leftovers, 3x plus 4. And that's my answer. What would you do if you wanted to check your answer?
You would just simply plug it back into the equation.
No, not going to plug in. Not going to plug in. What would I do to check my answer? I'd FOIL it back together. I'd multiply back together to see if I got the right answer, what I got when I started with. Okay. Let's do another one of these. Okay, what number am I going to try to find the factors of? Negative 36. 2 times negative 18 is a negative 36. Okay, so first step, multiply first and last. Second step, find the factors of that number that adds together to get to the middle number. Can anybody think of it right away? Or should we make out our list? Let's do our list. So, negative 1 times 36, negative 2 times 18, negative 3 times 12. Bingo. There it is. Negative 3 times 12. Negative 3 times 12 is negative 36. Negative 3 plus 12 is a positive 9. So therefore, these are my two factors. So 2x squared, my first remains the same, my last remains the same. I rewrite, and again, that's where it gets its name, factor by rewrite. I rewrite the middle number in between to be my two factors that I've found. Always put the negative factor first when there's one of each. All right. Underline my first two, underline my last two, and I factor by grouping. My GCF of my first two terms, what is my GCF of my first two terms here? Elena? Just an x. Just an x. So when I remove an x, it's a 2x minus 3. Okay, what's my GCF of my second two terms? Baker? 6. And when I divide that out, it's again 2x minus 3. Hey, look at that. One of my answers is 2x minus 3. The other is the x plus 6. Okay, starting to get the hang of it a little bit. Let's keep it going. Do another one. 6x squared plus 11x plus 4. Okay, what number am I going to find the factors of? 24. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, can anybody tell me right away? What are the factors of 24 that add to get to 11? Elena? 8 and 3. Very good. 8 and 3. I always like to go smaller than bigger, so I'm going to say 3 times 8. It wouldn't matter if you flip the order of that, though, just so you guys know. It wouldn't matter if you did 8 times 3. So let's rewrite our first term stays the same. Our last term stays the same. This 11 turns into 3 and 8. 3x and 8x. And now I factor by grouping. Okay, my GCF of my first two terms is a 3x. It's leaving me with a 2x plus 1. My GCF of my second two terms is a positive 4, leaving me with a 2x plus 1. Sweet. 2x plus 1. 3x plus 4. We start to get the hang of this a little bit. A little bit. Keep it going. (6x squared minus 23x plus 7). Factors of what? What am I going to make my list with? What number? 42. 42. 6 times 7 gets us 42. Can anybody tell what it is right away?
2 and 21.
Yes, 2 and 21, and they both have to be negative, right? How do I know that they both have to be negative? Because the middle's a negative. Negative 2 times negative 21. Now, I said always put the negative factor first if there's one of each. If they're both negative, then you're kind of stuck. You just got to put them both in. Leave our first term. Leave our last term. The middle term gets broken up into negative 2x minus 21x. And now we factor by grouping. Underline the first two, underline the last two. Okay, so this means I've got a 2x as my GCF to get a 3x minus 1. Looks like I've got, now what am I going to pull out as my GCF of my second two terms? Negative 7. I'm going to get a 3 in the end. I know what you're saying. Negative 7. Why do I know I pull out a negative? Well, because again, I lead with a negative. These second two terms, I lead with this negative number. I've got to remove it as my GCF, which gets me a positive 3x minus 1. Positive 7 over negative 7 gets me negative 1. All right, so that means my two factors are 3x minus 1, 2x minus 7. I have one last thing. I know we only got 3 minutes left, but whenever you lead with a negative, okay? Whenever you lead with a negative, like our last two, you remove the negative first. Here's what I mean, and I'd like you to do this one quickly with me. Do you see how I lead with a negative? I'm going to remove that negative as like a -1, which basically turns everything else the opposite sign. Now, is that going to change the way I factor? No, and I'd like you to like arrow down that -1, because that's just going to be part of our answer. The rest of the process remains the same. 2 times 3 is 6. What are the factors of 6 that add to get to 5? +5. 2 and 3. We just multiplied them together. Okay. Rewrite that middle term. We factor by grouping. We pull out the 2x, leaving an x plus 1. We pull out a 3, leaving an x plus 1. So my final answer just includes that -1 that I brought down. That's the only separate thing I do with that negative leading out in the coefficient.
You can do that.
Yeah. Just make sure it's part of your final answer. If you pull out the -1 and it just goes away, you can't do that. You've got to leave it as part of your answer. All right. So homework is up on the board, page 552, 2 to 24 even. Hey, guys, I can't stress it enough to do your homework. Repetition is key with this stuff. Make sure you do your homework.